Hey everyone, Pine Grove News Live. Live on YouTube, live on Mixler. Hey, I really like those sirens. It kind of makes you take notice, doesn't it? It always has for me. Eerie sirens in the night. It's 6:02 p.m. here on the East Coast, and this is Pine Grove News Live. Blessings, everyone. Blessings to you and your family and your loved ones. And blessings to those who need them. So it is October. No, it's not. It's November. It actually is November now. November 7th. One day after the midterm elections. Yeah, and so much for the red wave. I mean, they're still claiming their victories. They still control the Senate, and the House is controlled by the Democrats, the same as it was prior to the elections. And, for Connecticut, here in southern New England, you just have people who are just on drugs and they're drinking too much alcohol to have what they voted on, if it was their choice. I don't know if it was just selected or these people were actually elected, but they have to have no idea. They have to be literally in a drunken stupor to vote for some of these people. I mean, you had two guys. I mean, granted, there was only three guys. There was three guys total running for mayor. Two of them were admittedly saying they're going to raise taxes. One of them says that they're going to put out a toll, this thing that we talked about. You're going to have to get this thing from your insurance company and put it in your car, and they determine how many miles you drive each day, and they're going to start charging you for those miles. Not enough that they're charging you an exorbitant amount in your gasoline taxes, okay? Which they've already spent for something else totally different. But anyway, man, and in Connecticut only. I heard just prior to the cutoff of registration for voting, last night there were buses, okay? There were buses being driven to these voting places, okay, with students on board. So they went down wherever they may be. Yukon is a big place over here. So they went to these places, put these children on these buses, got them registered to vote, and then drove them to the freaking voting booths. Yeah, and it's there's some people crying foul, and it may even be foul, and that's the thing that's going on here anyway in Connecticut. And crazy stuff, man. I mean, right down to the wire. People are, that's politics for you. Lying, cheating, stealing, robbing, murdering. I mean, that's who you're voting in. I just wonder what would happen. What would happen? Someone tell me. What would happen if we didn't vote at all? If nobody voted? Do they by default, do they continue their terms? Or by default, do they abandon their post and, have to leave? But anyway, I've heard some other stuff from World Watchman. Pelosi was voted back in, and some other people that really should not be there anymore. I mean, have you ever listened to Pelosi or Waters speak about anything? They go off in different directions, and I know I go off in different directions too, but I think mine make more sense than what theirs is. Theirs doesn't even cover the subject anymore. And anyway, they've just been in there too long, and I don't get it. I don't get it. The only thing I can figure out is that, the Lord gave people a delusion. They're deluded. They're delusional. whatever you want to call it. They're totally out of their minds. In any case, just so much for this QAnon thing, and this red tsunami. I mean, some people are playing it. Yep, Trump got exactly what he wanted. This is what he wanted. Okay, so whatever. And, I don't know if I have the article, but Sessions is out. He was asked by Trump to, give his resignation, and he did. So I guess that was the start of it. Start of what? I don't know. Sometimes, in any case, sometimes I just think that QAnon is a total distraction. I mean, I haven't listened to him long. I've heard some other people, try to decrypt or, decipher his, cryptic messages. And if nobody knows who he is, why does he have to come out with cryptic messages? In any case, then you have all these people trying to, decipher them and have their own, explanations. And so, too many people are distracted by that. Anyway, of course, certainly most definitely could be that I have no idea what I'm talking about. That is most definitely probably what it is. Yeah. So, I guess that's what I wanted to get past. Was the first one was the buses, students, and in any case, well, believe me, I know. I grew up in Connecticut. Since I've been here since I was actually longer than that. I think I was here at 6, but in particular in Enfield since I was 9 years old. That was 49 years ago. So it's been a while. I've met a lot of people, good terms and bad terms. And I would think that I have, a sense for what Connecticut is and what it isn't. People. But anyway, I digress. Let's just go on to the other news. Sorry for my cough, and I don't know what the heck's going on. Has anybody else been tired lately? I mean, for the past 2 weeks, man, I've been, normally I have my 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon rundown, before I get a second wind. And I've had that for a long, long time. But it's almost, all day long. I get it, I get up. I always have a hard time getting up. I go through 3 snooze alarms, And anyways, so tired. I mean, I'm alert, but my body is just tired. It doesn't want to do much. I don't know if it's the food that I'm eating. Probably is. I need more energy. I mean, is anybody else feeling this? Is there something going on? Are they putting something in the air, in the food, in the water? No, it isn't so. Not in our food, water, and air. Not in our very, nutrients and oxygen and everything else that we need to live. I don't know. Maybe they, did that before the midterm so that everyone. I don't know. Record turnouts though. Record turnouts. That's good. I'm not putting anyone down for voting. You want to vote? Go vote. I just, somewhere along the line, when I was a Jehovah's Witness, yes, I was a Jehovah's Witness one time. That's the humor of our Father, I've told you all before when I was first called how broken I was, and that he answered me 2 weeks later, the questions that I had, who, what, and why am I here, and all this stuff. And I wanted to get to know him, if he was here, if he was real. And he sent me Jehovah's Witnesses. He did. Man, I did 6 months, Bible studies in my house and, in front of my wife. She wasn't in them. She walked back and forth out of them. But that was the first time that I was called and started doing things, like that, studying the Bible and really wanting to know. Yeah, and it was great. It was fine. I even got my son to go to a couple, church meetings at the Kingdom Halls. We have one down the street. I don't know if it's still there now, but that's where it was when I went. 2 miles away. And so anyway, yeah, that was his sense of humor, I guess, and kind of making light of the situation. And of course, after they told me, because I told them that I wanted to get baptized, and they said, "Well, we'd like you to do some out service or something like that." They wanted me to go door to door before I got baptized. I don't get it, but that's what they told me I had to do. So I told them that they could go do it. That I'm not going. I don't know enough to be going knocking on people's door and answering questions that these people might have. There's no way. So I just thought that odd and decided to leave. Called somewhere else. I could tell you some other places I went after that. And went to some place called what was it? Oh, Repairing the Breach. He called himself Saruba Bell. And that's another story. So I won't get into that right now. But he studied the Old Testament. He didn't believe in the New Testament. I was with him almost a year before I realized that he didn't even like the New. He denied the New Testament, the Gospel. He denied it. They called Paul the traitor of Sarsis or something like that. But yeah, the things that we get, caught into and end up, well, at least we're not there anymore, right? At least we're on to something else. Oh my, my, my. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, everyone at Mixler. I did it again. I did not turn the mic on Mixler. It is on YouTube Live, though. God. Sorry about that. So, yeah. I don't know why I keep forgetting the mic on Mixler. I go over there to turn the sound off because if I leave it on, it echoes. And so I figured doing that is taking care of the mic, but no, it's not. So again, apologize. You didn't miss much. It was mostly just, on my soapbox, talking about the elections. Nothing's changed. That was the, gist of it. Nothing's changed. No red wave, no blue wave, even though they both claimed that there were. And everything remains the same. Right? Nothing new under the sun. So let's go on to some other news. I don't have much of it, but there's a couple things that just like to mention to you. Yeah, I like soap. Yeah, yeah. That we're talking about the Lord's having a sense of humor. When I was at my called, I'll just say called. When I asked a lot of questions, he answered me first by sending Jehovah's Witnesses to my house. Yeah, 2 weeks after that, I had to wait 2 weeks, and so I was a Jehovah's Witness for about, I don't know, 6-8 months. And the good thing that came from that was that I had Bible studies, but the rest of it was just garbage. Yeah, off in another direction, and the right direction this time. I've been through other places too, and thank the Lord for giving, precept upon precept, line upon line. If we took it all in at once, we'd be mad. Crazy. I mean, people already call us crazy, right? Crazy Christians. All right, so I guess we'll just move on. I just wonder if the music's still on, too. I don't see it playing, but that off. So let's move on. From the Watchers, talking about the deadly floods that have hit Indonesia. More than 1,400 homes are flooded. Yeah. Just another statistic. Just, these things happen all over the world now. You hear about it almost every day. Between that and the volcanoes, the earthquakes, the number of 6+, and I don't even get notified for anything below that. I've still meant to change that, and I haven't changed it yet. Something big's going on, and a little later there is also something else going on in the mid-Atlantic, or not the mid-Atlantic, but the South Atlantic, or South Mid-Atlantic. There's an anomaly out there, and there's a brother out there who has his video channel, and it's pretty popular, secure team. He talks about this anomaly that some satellite picked up. It's supposed to pick up heat signatures, from fires and whatnot. That's what that satellite does. But we'll get to that in a minute. In the meantime, 4 people have been killed over the past 4 days in Indonesia. And, 2 bridges destroyed, 1,400 homes and districts. So this story continues to go on and on and on. Like I said, not just in Indonesia, everywhere, all over the world. And here's some more election news. This is from Natural News from Mike Adams, who now has changed Real.video. I hope you all know that. He's changed Real.video to Brighton. Brighton. Bright Eon. Okay, that's what he's changed it to. I'm over there as well, but I haven't posted in a couple days. And that's the guy from Mike Adams from Natural News. The what do they call him? The Health Ranger. So this headline here reads, midterm election outcome avoids worst case civil war scenario. Here's what to expect next. Yeah, there was talk about that too, yeah. Civil war. I don't know who's going to be against, Republicans and Democrats, or Antifa and Black Lives Matter, Soros-funded, rioters against the sane people. I don't know. So it goes on. It says, you may recall that months ago I warned of a particular scenario that would lead you to an eruption of mass violence on the left, escalating to a civil war. Well, I guess I'll just put a stop to that right now. Okay, yes, there were warnings out there for these riots if it didn't go the Democrat way. Okay, but seeing that they both got their way and things have not changed anyway, that is on hold at the moment. So, yeah, Soros will not get his wish at the moment. I'm sure there's still, BLM and Antifa out there somewhere causing trouble, chasing old men down in their cars, just because he might have had white privilege or just to beat the crap out of them just for the sake of it. Because that's what they are. They're just brutal, antagonistic, paid troublemakers. That's about it. Yeah, so nothing's changed. And this one's pretty good. This is play it for you. This is from Now the End Begins. Press conference erupts into a brawl. It didn't erupt into a brawl, but it could have. You can see, right? People who are on. So if you wanted to go to YouTube and watch it live, you can actually see these things instead of waiting until the video comes out. You can go to PGN Live, Pine Grove News Live, PGN Live, and just look up the live stream. It's working. Well, the press conference erupts into a brawl as incredibly hostile reporter Jim Acosta from fake news CNN battles Trump aide for a microphone and loses. I mean, I can't believe I listened to it. Okay, it's like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Can't believe what this reporter, did. So I'm going to let you listen to the whole thing.
Challenge you on one of the statements.
Okay. I'm going to ask a question. We'll start from the beginning. It's about 2 minutes, 40 seconds. And here we go.
I wanted to challenge you on one of the statements that you made in the tail end of the campaign in the midterms.
Here we go.
If you don't mind, Mr. President, that this caravan was an invasion. As you know, Mr. President,
I consider it to be an invasion.
As you know, Mr. President, the caravan was not an invasion.
I consider it an invasion, too.
A group of migrants moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling me that.
And why did you characterize it as such?
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion.
But do you think that you demonized immigrants in this election to try to keep...
I want them to come into the country, but they have to come in legally. You know, they have to come in, Jim, through a process. I want it to be a process, and I want people to come in, and we need the people.
Your campaign...
Wait. You know why we need the people, don't you? Because we have hundreds of companies moving in. We need the people.
But your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and so on.
Well, that's true.
But
they weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing that.
They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood. Right. These were people. This was an actual, it happened a few days ago. And
they're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's not an invasion.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President.
And he grabs the phone back out of this lady's hand who hands the microphone to people. The president has already told him that's enough. I would have had the man removed forcibly. I mean, come on. I mean, I thought President Trump handled it very well, but this guy keeps going on and on and on. It is CNN fake news.
That's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other question, if I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have...
I'm not concerned about anything with the Russian investigation because it's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation? Mr. President.
I'll tell you what.
And why isn't there going to be consequences? I hope this guy is fired. I mean, but that company should be out of business. They don't have any ratings or not much to talk of. I mean, I used to watch that stuff all the time, Wolf Blitzer and all that, and it shit goes just like everything else goes, man. Everything has been a freaking lie. And yeah, I mean, I've come to terms with it now. But when I started hearing these things, I'm saying, no, come on. Can't be true. They're not lying. What? And then I heard about 9/11 and, Vietnam with that, how it started with that boat over there and all these things, these lies, all lies. I want the America that I, remember. Even though it didn't exist, it existed in my bubble or whatever you want to call it. We all are living in that bubble because that's what we were told by that fake, mainstream media. I want that. I want it to be real. That you don't have to worry about keeping your doors locked all the time, and you loved your neighbor and you talked all the time. You helped each other out. I mean. I guess, with man, running in charge of man, it's not going to happen, folks. No, not anything that man has ever done has created peace. None of it. Never will. Won't happen. It's just not in our makeup, I guess, or at least has been tainted, since the curse, since, Adam. Even though Jesus did away with the curse, we still have some stuff in us, man. But it's going to take divine intervention, don't you think? Divine intervention to get it all right. And we'll move on. So, anyways, this is from KCT TV, Channel 5 News. Kansas City health inspectors throw away food meant for the homeless. And this is just... these are just vile things that goes on in our country, and probably all over the world. You got homeless people out there. I mean, they don't have jobs, they don't have housing, they don't have food. And these volunteers, come there, and not just one spot, but in, a few spots around the Kansas City area. And these people, they've never had any problems with these people before, but until, this day, which was, what was it, 2 days ago? Okay. Over the weekend, I guess. Sunday evening. So there was 3 places that they were at, and the health department stopped a group called Free Hot Soup. Okay, the group called KCTV5 News and said that health inspectors dumped out food such as a bean soup and told them to leave the parks. But they not only just dumped the food out, okay, they told the people from the Free Hot Soup giving out free food to throw away the food, or they would throw away the food. And so, of course, the Free Hot Soup people did not. And so the other people, I guess they were, I think they were cops. I think she had mentioned in the interview they were cops, but they weren't wearing their uniforms. But anyway, they put bleach. They poured this food in plastic bags, and then they put bleach in here to make sure that nobody ate it later on. Yeah, I don't understand that. I guess I do. I'll have to understand, but these are the times we live in. The evil that's just all around us, man. It's just everywhere. I don't. It's just that part of me that's fighting, man. That I don't get how people can be so cruel, but then I forget briefly, because I'm so irate at people destroying food when people are hungry. Not just here. There's people hungry all over the world. Look at Africa. As much as we send food over there, it's just the troublemakers that, grab the food and sell it on the black market and let the people starve. So that happened over the weekend. That was that. So let's see if I can, what else we can get to before that. Oh, this one, we talked about this probably last week. It wasn't that long ago. But also from Natural News. This mysterious polio-like disease. It's sweeping America. But is it caused by vaccines? Herbicide exposure? This is what Mike Adams talks about. So the Center for Disease Control recently revealed that they are investigating 155 possible cases of polio-like syndrome. Okay, it's not polio, but it's like it. Or acute flaccid myelitis. So far, 80 cases of acute flaccid myelitis, AFM, have been confirmed in 25 states as of November 2nd. While health officials say they don't know what's causing the outbreak of polio-like syndromes in the children, there are a few potential causes that are going unreported. Vaccines being one of them. Migration and exposure to toxins are all potential vectors of disease. But saying so isn't politically correct. Scientists have long since known that the oral polio vaccine can and does cause polio-like symptoms. So anyway, that is a big problem right now. Not the only problem, but it's one of the ones that's making the news quite a bit. So, guess what? And so we have everyone where I work having to have a flu shot. Yeah. We are, either a flu shot, and there's a couple people who refuse to get it. At least they're not going to be fired, because I know, in other places like hospitals, nurses, and people like that, they have to get those vaccines or they will lose their jobs. Now, I've heard a lot of this today. After I've seen people walking around with masks on, I haven't asked them anything, but I figure, you know, they're being considerate, and maybe they have a cold, so they don't want to spread it. So, and then I, you know, saw a couple more masks, and I'm saying, what's going on here? Then I saw my wife, you know, who works in this, well, the next building over, same campus, and she's wearing a mask, and she said that she was told that she had to wear it or get a flu shot. Now, these people, and I've talked to 3 of them that were at this work, you know, they have never, in all 3 cases, including mine, I may have had the flu when I was a child. I think I got it on Christmas Day when I was a child, probably about 10 years old. Okay, never ever had any other flus. Okay, and I don't even know if that was a flu, but that's what they called it, I guess. So I had it once, but these other 3 people never had it. Okay, never had the flu. And so why? Well, we all know why. You know, it's about the money. It's all about the money and other things. The money is the, you know, one thing, but the other thing is they put other things in these vaccines. And then, you know, in any case, Bill Gates makes a lot of money from it. That's all I can tell you. He makes his money from it, and now my wife has to wear that mask, and the other people too. And they haven't got to me yet because I'm not going to take no vaccine either. Okay, I have not had the flu since I was 10. You know, even when there were other flu victims around. But so that's what's going on at my work. You know, so you got to wear this mask. They have to wear it until April. So they're going to have to wear it, you know, all this month, December, January, February, March, and April. 6 months. They have to wear a mask 6 months, or at least while they're talking with the residents there of this, you know, nursing home, rest home, what do they call it? The ones who aren't so, don't need the nurses as much. Assisted living, they call it. Well, from now on, if you don't have a flu shot, you can't talk to the residents unless you have a mask on for 6 months. And we talk to the residents all the time, so crazy stuff. Just to get money, just to make the money. That's all everything's about. Money, money, money. Okay, so where are we now? In any case. Let's see if there's anything else we need to see before we go, you know, in different directions. This also from the Watchers, Asteroid, okay, 2018. Asteroid 2018, VX1, to fly by Earth at it's 0.9 LD on November 10th. So in 3 days, and that would be Friday or Saturday. But we've had other ones. See, they'll tell you about this one, okay, because they know where it's going. It's almost 9/10 of the way to the moon, the distance-wise. So you could probably still see it, I guess, if you know where it is. But this one they're going to tell you about. They don't tell you about the ones that are 0.3 LD, 0.4 LD until, you know, after it's gone by already. Because at those times, I mean, sometimes they only catch it within a, you know, few hours because there's so many of them. But in any case, this one you've heard about. The other ones, you won't hear about it until they're already past us. But anyway, you know, we are to watch the heavens. There's going to be signs in the heavens. I mean, we've had the Revelation 12 sign in the heaven already. So stay tuned. Remember, things get progressively worse and more frequent, so keep your eyes to the sky. Is that what Security Team says, or who else is that? That SO, Suspicious Observer, I forget who says that. Not really that important. And this one, you know, a couple of these things I just had to, you know, put out there. It's, I don't know if it's headline news or not. I would say it could be. This is from Anomaly. I've never been there before. This was sent to me. A home resident was killed by Maryland police trying to confiscate his guns. Now, of course, this is America, right? And we still have the right to own guns and bear arms. But in certain cases, so we'll go down here and talk about this. So, Fox Baltimore.com is reporting that a Maryland resident was killed by police as they tried to enforce this, get this, red flag gun confiscation order. Called a red flag gun confiscation order. At 5:17 in the morning, they always come. They do. They always come at barely just before the break of dawn. They do. They come when you're, dead asleep. So in any case, that was Monday morning, the 5th. And so, they're still investigating. But I read part of the story down here about what this red flag gun confiscation thing is. But anyways, the man answered the door armed with a handgun, and I would too at 5:15 in the morning, man. I'm telling you, somebody's pounding on my door. Well, if they were saying police, then maybe I'd put the gun down. But in any case, you have the right to have it. And then a struggle ensued, of course, as the police officers, attempted to disarm the man. So during the struggle, the man's handgun discharged, and police fired shots, of course, and killed him. So this Maryland Governor Hogan disregarded veto request and signed this red flag bill. That's what I wanted to get to. The red flag bill. It's titled HB 1302, HB 1302, in spring of 2018. Under that bill, as it became law, virtually anyone can ask a law enforcement officer to file an ex parte petition with the state district court judge or commissioner and allege that the gun owner poses an immediate danger to himself, herself, or others because, and only because, he or she possesses firearms. So, you can have a disgruntled girlfriend, you can have an ex-wife, or a friend that's upset with you. Call these law enforcement officers and tell them that they're in fear of this person who has guns, possesses firearms, and they can go and take the guns. I mean, what kind of rinky-dink freaking law happened there? This is how they're doing it now, people. They're not coming. I mean, they're still going to have their false flags, but they're coming. They're just coming through the back door with everything now, in quiet, except for articles like these. So, I mean, the court does have to issue the order, but it doesn't say whether they issue them all the time. I mean, what's the sense of having this red flag bill that's basically states all you have to do is call somebody and tell them that you fear for them or someone else because they own a firearm. They'll get the court order and they'll go like they did. These cops they're not policemen anymore. Okay, that's why they call them cops. They're not policemen. They don't police. They're trained like military people. They have, Obama gave them free military equipment, and I still believe I have that link to, if you want to find out what your state and or town got from Obama, from the government, as far as free military equipment is concerned, you can go find out. It was given, in 2015, I believe, probably before that. They've had them for a while. They've been trained as military officers, not police officers. In any case, there's so many stories like that almost every day, just like, the floods and hurricanes. Well, not hurricanes, but storms and earthquakes. there's always a story out there where cops have killed somebody by mistake or on purpose because they feared for their life. Supposedly. That's what they're using anyway. So, I'm just telling you, whoa, just lost everything. Okay. Well, that's what they're doing nowadays. They're going in through the back doors quietly and, taking the guns themselves. If they have to do it one at a time and or killing the person, so be it. So the craziness that we're going through. And some other off the regular way we go. This is from Science Alert. It's official. Trump Space Force is here, and space is now a war-fighting domain. For real. The president said he was going to create it, and now the White House has released some details on this new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces. In that link, I'm going to try and get it to you somehow. Maybe I'll just put that. Just put some of these links in there in Mixlr. But you can see them if you go to YouTube. You go to my video. You can see the link up there. Okay, ScienceAlert.com. You'll be able to see all these links that I go to. Yep, I see it on there now. Live version is buffering. Let's change that. Okay, back to normal. Yeah, I do get the sniffles though during this change of weather. I don't get the flu. Nope. So anyway, so there's going to be a link in that story. That's what I'm trying to get to. All those words, just trying to tell you that. So this Space Force will be the 6th branch of the Armed Forces after the Navy, Air Force, Army, Marines, and Coast Guard. The U.S. is the preeminent spacefaring nation. They're the technologically or scientific and exploration leader. I don't think so. They may want you to believe that, just like they wanted you to believe that they went to the moon. They wanted to do that because, and they faked it, just like any other propaganda piece they put out there. I mean, they did it during World War II. They did it in a lot of places. Hollywood, made videos and have their sets, where they make movies from. So, I was sitting in front of my TV in 1969. 10 years old, sitting in front of my TV, watched it in black and white. And it was all a lie. That's what I believe now, these days. Can't get past the Van Allen belt at the moment, even though they've tried to stretch that part of it. Some experiments that they did in space that we've heard about, been recorded, tried to make the satellite, where that band is. They tried to make it bigger. They're messing with stuff that they shouldn't be messing with. The LHS, the Large Hadron, CERN, all those things. They got so many of those now. China's threatening to build, one a lot bigger than the one in Switzerland or wherever that is. The LCH, whatever you call it, Large Hadron Collider, LHC in Switzerland. The one that they always talk about. In any case, yeah, I mean, I still want to know, somehow, someday, that little miniature space shuttle. Remember that? It's every time they go to inspect this ship that goes into orbit and just flies around, I believe it actually goes into the Van Allen belt because they are really trying to get through that Van Allen belt in order to, go to the Mars and go to the moon and actually, build things there. That's what they want to do. So I think this thing is being sent there and taking data, and they're, because every time you see them with a picture of it, these men are in containment suits. Because they can't send man through the Van Allen belt because of the radiation. It would kill man. Whether they're in a tin little ship, on top of a rocket or not. There's a couple astronauts who are supposedly on the ISS who have stated the very thing, with their planned Orion space flight. They are going to try and put a man on that particular spacecraft and get it through the Van Allen belt, because they've stated that they have not been through the Van Allen belt. They can't get past it without killing the person or whoever they send up in it. It's just, that's a fact. All right. Oh, we're on time here. Too long. In any case, what are we going to do now? Let's go. Yeah, we're way over. Yeah, so what is it? Oh, here is this one. And you can go to his website, his YouTube channel, and look for this as well. From Secure Team 10. Fiery event in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean detected. That's this thing down here. Okay. They don't know what it is, but we're going to let you listen to the first minute or two, and then we'll be done with that. You can go. It's only 6.5 minutes, but we don't have the time.
Of what was being described, or what is being described, as a strange heat anomaly in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean that was actually registered as a massive fire, because this type of satellite, that's a weather satellite known as the Sumi NPP, operated by the NOAA, is used basically to pick up any fires on Earth. So as you're seeing in this image here, captured through an instrument called the Visible Infrared Imaging Radiometer, we have thousands of these red dots up and down and inland of the coast of Brazil. So everywhere you'll find one of these red dots, that is a fire somewhere. It's a massive amount of heat being picked up via this radiation instrument. And so what was strange to NASA, and they've even admitted this, it was first posted on the Weather Channel and some others, is that as the satellite was heading over the Atlantic Ocean, they noticed hundreds of kilometers off of the coast of Brazil a very large red dot, or what they are calling a thermal anomaly. And so as this satellite was going over this area of the ocean, this area was flagged as being unusually warm, and that's when they noticed that this red dot was actually much larger than any of these other red dots in Brazil here, again, most of which are caused by fires, but basically just massive heat and radiation. And so originally they thought maybe it was a natural gas flare, but it's not, because as you can see off the coast of Brazil here, we have multiple of these little dots in a row here, and those are actually, but basically, if you guys have heard of the Bermuda Triangle down here on Earth, you could describe this area as the Bermuda Triangle of space. And what it is an area of space above the South Atlantic where Earth's magnetic field is much weaker, and it's centered directly over South America and the South Atlantic. And in this specific area, some strange things have been known to happen. And for whatever reason, Earth's magnetic field, there's almost a giant hole right over this area, and some have stated that there is something strange happening beneath the South Atlantic Ocean that is causing or punching this hole in Earth's radiation field.
Yeah, and so that was a good report. But, there's all kinds of different speculations as to, what's causing ozone holes, ozone layer holes, and supposedly there's one, some along the East Coast, some on the North or South Pole, and I don't know. You'd have to go research that, because nobody Nobody really knows why. Some people speculate about some Carrington event and or some kind of microburst happened and blew a hole in our atmosphere. But you know, I can go on for quite a long time about data that are speculation because it is all speculation. They can't prove any of it. So we'll go on to this. Scientists have confirmed the new DNA structure inside human cells. They still messing around with that stuff. So this discovery of what's described as a twisted knot of DNA in living cells confirms our complex genetic code is crafted with more intricate symmetry than just the double helix structure everyone associates with DNA. Importantly, the forms these molecular variants take often how our biology functions. Anyways, so they found this twisted knot, whatever. This goes to show you how, and with information like this, I mean, they claim that they can do all these things like, copy your memories, upload this, upload that into another body, transhumanism, that type of thing. Showed you that Jason A. put out a video about that. I forget the name of the company, but they're actually trying to sell these people. You can go out and pick, whether you want to be male or female, and they're actually organic, partially, and obviously other parts of, robots and robotic stuff, and claiming that they can upload your essence into one of these man-made creatures and you could live forever. But I'm telling you, they don't know enough. They don't know that. I mean, we have a soul, okay? And you cannot, there's no way that they're going to be able to copy a soul, which is basically a housing for your spirit, who you are. You can't copy that. They may be able to, I don't know, copy emotions, memories, things like that, but you cannot copy the soul. You cannot copy the spirit that's inside that soul. No. And see, that was the difference between us and animals, dogs, cats. We've all, all living creatures have souls. But we're the only creatures that have spirits in those souls. Anyways, they continue to try and, create these things and copy what God has already made. And they are going to make an abominable monsters. And, and this stuff too, with this AI. This is from VB, and I don't know what VB stands for. This was given to me also. The title of it is An AI God Will Emerge by 2042 and Writes Its Own Bible. And will you worship it? Okay. And this one over here, from the Daily Star, okay, take that for what it's worth. Their title is The End of God, ? Claims humans will worship an AI Messiah. I'm just telling you, folks. They will. They will. That's what this is coming to. If you go to Revelation 13, and I'm going to read 14 and 15 for you. Revelation 13, 14 and 15. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. They're going to give life to this beast. Some people still, have differences of opinions as to what this beast actually is. Okay? We all know where it comes from, and it's the opposite of God. With that, everyone, God bless you all. Have a great evening. This is Wednesday. Middle of the week, I will see you Friday, if not earlier. Something comes up that's important. And with that, keep your family close, man. Keep them close. It's time to teach. Well, it's just, you just take hold of them. Don't let them go. Forgive them for what they've said. Forgive yourself for what you've done. And let's just, keep our family close and love them the way we're meant to love them. And not fight and take offense to each other. That's something totally different. Anyways, blessings to you all, and peace out.